Welcome to Global Faith Spotlight with your host, Roy Seals.
Hey, this is Roy Seals again with Global Faith Mission Agency, and today we are interviewing Greg Mann. Greg, thanks for being with us again.
Hey, Roy, it's great to be here.
You know, in our last conversation with you, you were talking about a specific emphasis that you have at this particular time in your ministry. Remind us again of what your focus is on in Guyana these days.
Well, of course, we're continuing our discipleship and our church planning and leadership development. But more recently, God has really brought youth in front of us. And that's really a specific focus that we have going right now.
Now, you've always worked with all these age groups, but how did this specific attention to young people get started in recent days?
Well, I'd have to say, obviously, scripturally it says that, my eye affects my heart. And I think the longer you spend with people, obviously it begins to impact you and begins to move your heart. And over the last several years, God has put me around the youth a lot more. And that really has come about by leading mission trips with teenagers and college-age students. In fact, in the last 10 years, I've probably taken over a couple hundred young people to Guyana. And through that, obviously, young people want to be with young people. And so that has put me in that kind of that age bracket a lot. And so it's really kind of developed over the last several years with these short-term mission trips.
Now, in the country of Guyana, are there a lot of other places or ministries or churches that are engaging the youth?
Well, keep in mind now, we are so far in the interior. So a lot of times when people do some research on Guyana, they're like, well, what are you doing there? Because there's so many churches and so on. But that is in the capital city. Now, we are located about 150 miles out into the northwest. And a lot of the villages that we are in, we are either the only ministry or perhaps the only evangelical or gospel preaching ministry. So there's really not, if you will, a lot of competition or even a lot of effort being made to reach young people.
Are the doors wide open for you to reach these young people? Are they eager for you to interact with them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we find everywhere we go, there's just an amazing interest level with the young people. It kind of comes naturally. And what we try to do as well is we try to do ministries to the young people that don't demand that if they are in another church, that they have to leave their church to come to ours. We try to be community-based, although we do try to build strong local church youth ministries, but at the same time, we try to do community-wide events as well. And that is proving to be very, very successful because most of the time, even if there is another ministry in a village, we're probably the only ones that are doing anything specifically with youth.
With this particular emphasis in these villages on the youth, you obviously have an opportunity to be a great influence on their lives. And so you've already told us that the young people are open to your influence. How about their parents? How about the older villages? Do they mind you working with the young people, or is that a hindrance?
Oh, absolutely. We basically have a green light. It's amazing. In America today, for obvious reasons, we have to be very cautious with our children and young people. But in Guyana, there's still a high level of trust, especially people in the ministry.
Right.
And so we take that trust very seriously because, parents from maybe other religious backgrounds or no background at all are still very willing to have us invest in their kids. And I think a lot of it, too, is that the longevity of our ministry, even villages where I go into for the first time, they've probably heard about me already. Pretty much any village in the Northwest, Region 1, which is like a state in Guyana, they divide by regions. Anywhere in that region, they're going to know who we are. And we've really built a high level of trust with people there, so that really helps us.
All right, tell me a little bit about the average young person you're working with in Guyana. You're working with a 15-year-old young boy or young girl in Guyana. Is their life any different than the average teenager that's 15-year-old here in the United States?
Well, I think the inward desires for teenagers are true anywhere in the world, but I think our young people They have a lot of challenges because now I'm talking more the more remote villages, and the challenges there is that they don't have a lot of childhood. From a very young age, they're taking great responsibility. And so it's kind of interesting. One thing we found is like we could get a group of teenagers together, give them a color book and color crayons, and they would love that. Now, if you did that to American teenagers, they would laugh at you. But see, they haven't had a childhood there.
Yes.
And so they love to play. They love to have fun. It's something that maybe they haven't had a lot of. And then there's just a lot of issues in the village that makes it challenging for young people.
Well, I'm sure that the ability to share God's word with these young people is so crucial because it has the potential of changing their future. Obviously, it changes their eternal destiny, but obviously their future also.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to talk with you a little bit more. So in our next discussion that we'll be doing in a few days, we want to talk about your strategy and how you're going about this. And then what can we do here in the United States to help enable your ministries? Thank you for your time today, Greg. And we're excited about this ministry. Once again, if you're interested in contacting Greg Mann, you may do so. Greg, can you give us your email address quickly?
Yes, Grace Ministries, plural, Grace Ministries, GY@gmail.com. Or you could go to graceministriesgy.org, which is our website.
Okay. And if you're familiar with the Global Faith website, you can go to it, globalfaith.net. Go to the missionary section, type in Greg Mann's last name, and you'll find him there, his picture of he and his wife, Wendy, and their website. And we'd be glad for you to communicate with them, interact with them, and maybe you can become involved in missions in Guyana. Thank you, Greg, for being with us today. God bless you and the ministry.